Hello, my name's Karen and I'm the Impact Officer for BVSC and I'm running the Impact in Action project. This presentation is on quick tips for quotes. It accompanies the resources that I'm doing called One Page Wonders, and you can find that on the website. I'll put the details below. So we're talking today about quotes, and we use quotes because they're memorable, because they're inspiring, and because they help evidence the difference that you're making as a voluntary or community group. Here I've got a couple of quotes, one of them from a previous participant who said, invaluable to sustaining our organisation, in reference to the Impact in Action work. And secondly, our meeting was very productive. Thank you and for all your future support. This opportunity is invaluable to the sustainability of our organisation and we are lucky to be involved with this project. And obviously this draws to life and brings evidence as to why something is beneficial. You're not just saying it yourself, somebody else is making that quote. So where can you gather quotes? Well, I'd recommend having a little think about where you've got quotes already in your work. So systematically in your work, you might be doing one-to-one work and you might have case notes, and some of those may be relevant to draw quotes from. You may have quotes from your project workers when they talk in team meetings about how things are going. And you may also have ad hoc quotes, so where people thank you without you asking them. They may email you, or there may be stuff on social media. It's worth having a think about where can you gather all of this information. Once you've gathered it, you need to store it somewhere. And if you're not already, you may want to add that to your database, or you can add it to an Excel spreadsheet and think about a table where you log the date that the quote was taken, the project it relates to, whether they've given permission for that quote to be used. And obviously, if they haven't, then you need to think carefully about whether you're allowed to keep it within that Excel spreadsheet. So where to use quotes? If you're going to do all this work to gather up information for quotes, it's a good idea to think about where to disseminate that information. So I would recommend quotes on your website, peppered throughout your website. You might want an annual report or an impact report to include some quotes. Also the trustees report section of the annual accounts, or on the cover of your annual accounts. Social media, and I'll show some examples in a moment of an example of how you can bring to life a quote with some good design on free software such as Canva. Leaflets you can have quotes on. You might want to provide quotes in your feedback to funders or in your application to funders. So it's important that your fundraiser or whoever's in charge of fundraising also gets to see those quotes. And I'd also say in meetings, so I realise that we're in a different world with COVID now, but at face-to-face fundraising events, I would sometimes share some quotes from people, and obviously that now needs to be translated into online sharing of quotes. Here's an example of a quote being used for Volunteers Week by our volunteer centre, and you know, just hearing what somebody is saying in their own words is really good, and having that photo next to it also brings it to life. I particularly like this one. Without volunteers I would have broken my back. So again, really bringing to life in her own words why volunteers are so essential to the work that the voluntary sector does. Some things to consider before gathering and using your quotes. You need to think about permissions, whether permission has been given, whether you're going to have it as a named contact or whether it's going to be an anonymous quote. Think around the ethics of asking people and whether they're able to give you that permission. Safeguarding as well, obviously really essential. You don't want to say, you know, Betty who lived at 28A, such and such drive, Sidcup. That would probably not be great if Betty is a vulnerable person, or any time actually. So there's lots more on the one-page wonder sheet, and the web link for that is there. Just scroll to the bottom, and then let me just close with a touching quote that you may know. Cool. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching.